Welcome to the Explainer. You know, invisible physical rules dictate literally everything in our universe. We're talking everything from the most mundane everyday movements to totally extreme acts of survival. You might not see them, but forces are constantly acting upon you, keeping you anchored to your seat or pushing you forward. Today, we're going to decode exactly how scientists map out these unseen interactions. And I promise you, by the end of our time together, you're going to look at the physical world around you in a completely different way.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Look at that number, 53. When a skydiver leaps from an airplane at a massive height, gravity immediately takes over, right? As they plummet toward the Earth, they can actually hit a breathtaking falling speed of up to 53 meters per second. Just take a second to think about the sheer, terrifying intensity of that downward motion. Which brings us to a massive, high-stakes survival mystery. We all know that if you lose your footing and fall off even a tiny, short ladder at home, you can easily break a bone or get seriously hurt. Yet a skydiver can hurtle through the atmosphere at 53 meters per second, deploy a parachute, and eventually touch down on the grass as softly as if they had just hopped off a single step. How is that physically possible? What specific rules of nature are they manipulating to actually survive that? Section 1. The basics, barbells, and net force.
All right, at the core of this whole mystery is something called net force. You see, whenever we look at an object, there is rarely just one single force acting upon it. Usually, there's a whole bunch of pushes and pulls happening all at the exact same time. Net force is simply the total, combined calculation of all those individual forces acting on an object. That includes forces pushing horizontally, side to side, and pulling vertically up and down.
Let's ground this abstract idea in a really relatable, everyday physical struggle. Just imagine a person at the gym trying to lift a barbell loaded with large, super heavy weights on either side. In this scenario, we've got a literal tug-of-war happening. Gravity is relentlessly pulling that heavy metal barbell down toward the floor, while the person's muscles are straining, applying an upward force to lift it toward the ceiling.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is understanding the difference between balanced and unbalanced forces. If the downward pull of gravity and the upward push of the lifter's muscles are exactly equal, well, the forces are balanced. And what happens? The barbell doesn't move. It just stays frozen in place, hovering. But if the person exerts an upward push that is greater than the downward pull of gravity, the forces become unbalanced. It's this exact state of being unbalanced that causes the barbell's motion to actually change, accelerating it upward into the air.
Section 2. The lab. Diagramming the indoor skydiver.
So, how do scientists actually map this stuff out? They use what's called a force diagram. Let's build one. Step 1. Draw a box representing the person, treating them as a single mass. Step 2. Draw a downward arrow for gravity's pull straight toward the floor. Step 3. Draw an upward arrow for the large fan's wind blasting up. It's really vital to note here that these arrows, these vectors, represent both the exact direction and the overall size, or magnitude, of the forces being applied.
And this brilliantly illustrates the direct, literal conflict happening to the person's body. We can clearly see this mental map of our forces. Gravity aggressively pulling the person down to the floor, meeting the intense, artificial wind from the large fan pushing them straight up toward the ceiling. By looking at this simple diagram, we can easily calculate the net force. If the fan's upward arrow is exactly the same size as gravity's downward arrow, the forces are balanced, right? And the person floats perfectly in midair.
Section 3. Systems, stability, and change.
Now, whenever experts analyze physics, they define what is called a system. A system is, quite simply, the thing or the specific group of things that you are actively analyzing. It could be our skydiver, it could be a massive forest ecosystem, or it could just be the engine of your car. By defining a system, scientists are basically drawing an imaginary boundary around what they want to study. This allows them to focus entirely on the aspects of change and stability inside that specific boundary. Once a system is defined, scientists monitor it closely for disruptions. There are lots of factors that might cause a system to suddenly change its behavior. Specifically, a system is affected by inputs. If you introduce new inputs of matter, new inputs of energy, or new inputs of information into your defined boundary, the system is going to react. The status quo is going to be disrupted. And how does that reaction play out? Well, based on those inputs, a system typically changes in one of two primary ways. It could change very gradually, shifting slightly over a long period of time as inputs slowly trickle in, or the system could change suddenly. We're talking an abrupt, dramatic shift caused by a massive, immediate input of energy or matter.
Now, the scientific definition of stability is actually kind of wild. In our everyday lives, we often think of stability as something that never ever changes. But in physics and engineering, a system is considered stable if it returns to its original state in response to small changes. It's all about resilience, you know? It's about the internal forces rebalancing themselves after a minor disruption to find their equilibrium all over again.
Section 4. The final balance. Let's bring this all together and see how this builds our final conclusion. Let's go back to our mystery. How does the skydiver survive that 53 meters per second fall? Well, by treating the skydiver as a system, scientists use those force diagrams we talked about to explain the safe landing. Initially, the downward arrow of gravity creates a massively unbalanced net force, causing the sudden change of plummeting toward the Earth. But when the parachute opens, it introduces a massive new input into the system: air resistance. Suddenly, an enormous upward vector gets drawn on our mental force diagram. This new upward pull fights intensely against gravity until the forces become balanced once again. The system regains its stability, slowing the skydiver down to a steady, totally manageable speed and allowing them to touch down gently and safely on the ground.
Because here's the wild part. The exact same physical rules that save a skydiver's life are operating all around you at this very second. Whether it's the chair you're sitting in pushing up against the gravity pulling you down, or the structural beams of the room you're in holding perfectly balanced loads, it's all net force. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this question to ponder. What unseen, perfectly balanced forces are working in quiet harmony to keep your own current system completely stable right now? Keep looking for those invisible arrows.